Good morning. Join me on Walden's Farm Fishery for a short morning session. I've got to be off by lunch. I was meant to be down here about an hour ago, but I woke up late. My alarm went off at 4 and I rolled over. But I've got rods in and fishing at about 6:30. I'm sat here because I've done a lap around the lake. There's a couple of guys fishing just up and on the elbow, basically, where it bends round. And I saw a few fish on the lake behind me, the small fish, well, I'll call it the small fish lake, on the other lake. And yeah, I've seen a few things, but there was numbers of fish here fizzing this morning. I've put a little choddy on 2 areas where I'd seen multiple fizzes, put a handful of corn over by those trees, and I think I've been done already. So it's looking good. Right, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've gone for a change of lakes because the sun started to come up and the fizzing stopped on the other lake. I've moved on to the easier one. I think it's Pope's, this one. I've gone into a nice snaggy little corner. As you can see, I've got a rod over by the lilies and a rod over by the reeds opposite. And we'll just give it a couple of hours here. Okay, so since moving here, just coming up to 9 o'clock, it's now 9:45, and I've had a carp and a bream within 10 minutes of each other. And both of them have come as I've been feeding corn in the lilies. So yeah, I'm going to give it 5 minutes and then give it another pouch of corn and see what happens. Speak to you in a bit. Right, good afternoon. It's just gone 4:30 on a Friday afternoon, and you join me at Walden's Farm Fishery again. I'm on the Match Lake. It's been a bit of an adventurous afternoon so far. I started off on the Specimen Lake, and I had fish going on floaters and missed 2 bites, and then the fish have just disappeared. So then I came up to Pope's, I think it is, the one that I usually go on to get a bite or two, and they're spawning on there. So now I've come up onto Deacon's, the Match Lake, and I found a few fish in the corner as usual. I've got them going on floaters, but I'm cheating a little bit now. I did start trying to stalk them by free lining earlier, and that failed miserably because the size of the hook bait was too big. Because I hadn't brought any spare tackle with me, I've walked all the way back down to the car to get re-geared. Now onto a little zigger liner, cut down, and I've decided to do some lazy floater fishing. So the controller's out and I'm fishing with a controller float, a bolt bubble on a bite alarm. We'll see if this works. It is just for giggles. I'm not that fussed if I catch one or not, if I'm honest. I'm about to have something to eat. We'll see where we go from here. Alright, I'm here for the night, so I'll speak to you in a bit. Right, it's now 20 to 9 at night, and I've I've been all over the place today looking for fish. I've been trying to fish floaters until about 6 o'clock. Then I've gone up to a swim on this lake up the far end, where I've put both rods in over beds of corn, and I've not seen anything on that. I've seen loads of fizzing, but I think it's been skimmers. So I did a quick lap around the two lakes about half an hour ago. Yeah, about half an hour ago. And I found some fish feeding down, well, there were no fish feeding down here when I came round, but there were on the other lake. So I've put a bit of bait in and I'm setting up on the other lake next to a set of lilies for the night. But I thought I'd put some bait in here just before I sacked it. And I put a handful of pellet in, picked my rods up from the top end, dropped them off on my other swim, come back round here and it's an absolute jacuzzi. I've lowered a rig in, they've spooked off, and it's just starting to fizz up again after about 5 minutes. So it's looking good for a bite. I've got a bit of pepper army on a little helicopter, and I've waffled far too much. Speak to you later. Right, good morning. It's just gone 3, and as you may be able to hear in the background and see on the screen at the moment, the thunderstorms that are forecast are definitely on their way. I've battened down the hatches, and it's going to be interesting for the next hour, I reckon. Speak to you in a bit. Okay, it's 5 to 5. I believe the worst of the storm's gone through now. So bed chair's been packed away, rods are back out on the spot, and yeah, gonna give it a few hours and see what happens. Oh, not really feeling it, if I'm honest though. Not feeling it at all.